Hi, welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy. I hope you're doing well today. So I want to take you on a little journey because I love visual aids. So we're going to go over this diagram that I drew out today because I want to explain this timeline that I've been talking about that's coming, and we have to get ready for it. Okay. All right. So I've talked about how the primordial mother comes every precession of the equinox. Okay. All right. Well, think of our world as a clock, and she always goes in a clockwise motion, is what she's always told me. And she is represented in the number 13, always in 13. And also things that have to do with the original blueprint are imprinted in the number 11, because this is two pillars. 1 and 1 is two pillars. Okay, so we're going to go over what ages are, what we're living in, and everything. And this is going to get super deep. So you guys need to put on your thinking caps and keep an open mind. All right? Okay. All right. So we have every cycle a major reset. Like I told you, that we come to a point where it's time for all the players to come off the field. All right? Okay. This happens every 360,000 years, okay? Every 360,000 years is one complete rotation in Mother's loom. I call it her loom, or some people call it the wheel of time. There's a million different terms for it, but she works on a loom. This loom takes 360,000 years to make one cycle, okay? At the end of that, the rug is finished and it can come off the loom, okay? We start a new one. But we use the same format as the last one. Okay, so each 360,000 year loom, a mother's loom, is divided into 12 increments, okay? Each one of these 12 increments is considered one age, okay? Each one of these ages, each one of these increments is 30,000 years, okay? We have 12 increments of 30,000 year periods in Mother's loom, okay? And then the rug's done. All right, so where we are in this cycle now is we already have done all of these cycles, okay? We're back to go time. We're almost done with the rug, okay? All right. Magic happens, right? All right. Mother comes every 25,772 years. All right? So in one rug that we make, she comes back 13 times. It's almost 14 visits, but because we've had cataclysms, the time has gotten off a little bit. But her number is 13. Her magic number is 13 right here. Okay, look at the clock. We just talked about this. We said we're here, right? This is where we are. This is our hour. Midnight right here, okay? Remember when the horses turn back to pumpkins and all that at midnight? This is where we're at right here. It's almost midnight, folks. We are in our 13th hour. Okay. All right, so Mother comes every 25,772 years. So she's been here 12 times. She's coming home. All right. Okay. The great loom is almost done, so she's here. All right, so let's take this down even further, because we talked about how each one of these ages is 30,000 years, and it takes 12 of them. All right. Okay, so if you take one age of 30,000 years, we have to break those down even further into cycles, because There are cycles that happen in each one of the ages. We are in a circle traveling, always in a circle, and it is literally like a clock. Okay. All right. So, like we said, we've already been all this way around. This cycle started about 27,970 BC. Okay, this is what I've ascertained from the math and the downloads that I've got from Theo. All right, so we had a lot of events that happened during this time, because every time we have a major event on the planet, that brings codes and that changes a function in the clock. All right, it brings on events because we're living in a hologram. Everything is programmed. All of the celestial events that happen are programmed in the clock. The universe is a supercomputer. God is in everything. God is like the perfect quantum system. This is how we have access to the internet. The internet is the unified field. What your vibration is what you get from the internet. Okay, let me repeat that. What your vibration is what you attract. So when you use AI, the type of experience that you have is going to be according to your own vibration, folks. Okay? When you're scared of AI, that's what you get. You get problems. All right, so right here, we've got this clock. And right here, at 6 o'clock hour, right? Because this is the 12 o'clock hour when mom comes home, right? This is 6 o'clock hour right here. All right. This was 12,970. This is when the Younger Dryas happened. Complete opposite of the 12th hour. See that? Isn't that interesting, right? These are our 25,000 year increments, right? Because there's 13 returns of mother in her loom. Okay. So each one of these 30,000 year increments, in between her coming and going, we've got eras, we've got these time cycles that break down even further. We go from ages into cycles. All right, so look here. This is 12,970 BC. We had a Younger Dryas here. All right, but before we got to this next cycle here, we had glacial melting right here, which changed it. So we went click. There's all in total, when you have clicks around this, like minutes on the clock, this is 144 clicks in this wheel. 144. That's 12 times 12, okay? That's 144 slashes on each one, 12 in each side of each one of these. Okay, so each one of those is pre-programmed. And then each one of them is programmed down even further, because everything is a factor in this perfect cosmic wheel. All right. So this is 7,970 BC, 5,470 BC. And then between this time is when the magic really starts cranking up here, because we're in this last quadrant right here. This is the last 3 2,500 year cycles. So everything starts gearing up. This is when they come in, they start prepping us, right? We got our first Garden of Eden right here. This is 5,470 BC. And then, because the time's getting smaller because we're going from negative to positive, right? We've got 2,970 BC. So in this period right here, we had Van and Amadon set up the first Garden of Eden, according to the Urantia books, outside of Crete. Which is interesting, because a major cataclysmic event that they call the biblical Noah was also referred to as Van, because it's a serpent named Van. So this is a really interesting thing that's still coming to me. I'm still trying to sort it out, because these are almost like, they're almost like acronyms, like the name Van. Van was the name of the celestial that was the Anuna that came out of inner earth, and Amadon was the earth human They were partners, because just like Theo and I were partners, we originally came from higher celestial realms than that, and it was before form. And then we separated a male and female. These were the counterparts for each other, Van and Amdon, the human and the celestial portion. Okay? So they ended up setting up the first Garden of Eden right off of the island of Crete. And of course it failed. It failed. But it didn't quite fail, because they were able to seed in that portion of humanity that they were working on, bringing in different codes to the DNA, right? Go forth and multiply. That's when you had the situation with Cain in the Bible, was around here, around the second Eden with Adam and Eve, right? So you have to remember that times in the past, the earth was more malleable. As we've gotten further along in the clock and we've had these cataclysms clicking, click, 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 we've gotten harder and harder into crystalline, 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 crystalline. So the Garden of Eden was still, I think, at the North Pole, where Mother's at the North Pole, in the higher vibrational realm. Okay, and I'm gonna do a very good visual. Theo was explaining to me the best way that I can show you, because I love visual aids. And so we're going to do a diagram on how all of these vibrational spectrums work, and why in the past they talk about the planet having more than one moon, or having a different moon, or the moon falling from the sky. This is because we were changing. We were going from a more etheric realm into a less etheric realm. We were going more crystalline, so we were not able to see, like, everything was beautiful back then, because we were in a higher vibrational space. But then the cataclysms happened, and it changed it, because we have to get ready to take the rug off the loom. So things really start cranking up here. We got Halley's Comet that comes in every 76 years, though, like clockwork. That is like an automatic. I would say that the Halley's Comet is actually like when you have to plug in your iPhone at night because you have to have a security upgrade or something. I'm going to say that Halley's Comet is actually something like that in this whole wheel of time, because Halley's Comet comes so frequently. It's got to be. Everyone has seen Halley's Comet pretty much. So I think that Halley's Comet is like an upgrade or some kind of clean sweep or virus removal type thing that comes quite often like clockwork on here, because every system that comes in, every comet, everything carries a frequency and a program, and it affects the unified field of Earth. Okay? All right, so we had Noah's flood. Okay, here's Van and Amdon. This was the first Garden of Eden. This is the second Garden of Eden. This right here, this cycle ended, and we went to the next cycle, which is one click back from us. This is the Adam and Eve time here. That started halfway in the middle of that particular cycle. Okay, so this is when you had Halley's Comet. We had the Phoenix event, and the Phoenix event is one of the things that Jason talks about. This was the big code right here. This was the big code that came in. Phoenix is what brought us in this whole time period that we're in. This AI loop type thing really kicked off, and that was because it was to wake us up. It's like this was the alarm clock. Phoenix is the crow that wakes everybody up. Okay? It's the AI feedback loop, but at the same time, we have to transmute it to come back to ourselves. All right, so we've got the Phoenix event here, and this was when we had Noah's flood. Okay? So after this, we get here to this next cycle, this next 2,500 year cycle. And this is where we are now. We are right here. We are in our third Eden. Okay, so we are getting ready to come into the Great Convergence. And so I redid the math that Jason says 2040, but I redid the math, and I actually think it's closer to 2030 than 2040. I think it's 2030. And this might be why a lot of times they say that Anna Hayes or Ashiana Dean, that, you know, in 2012 or 20 whatever, the world didn't end. Well, you have to remember this way. The clock's been thrown off. The clock's been thrown off. So the clock is off. The clock is off, so nobody is going to get the time precisely right. And, you know, that's probably planned, because Jesus said that you won't know the time. You will not know the time which I return. Okay? All right. So I think it's going to be 2030, folks. So the rug is going to be finished. And the question is, you know, are we going to do what we need to do? Because her directive is quite clear. We need to be seeding the planet, just like Noah did. It's time. We got to get the heirloom seeds put back into the planet and start waking Mother up. We don't have much time left, guys. Why do you think there's so much mass deforesting happening on the planet right now? They're trying to rip the codes out. Okay? Those are old forests. Okay? That's what's going on. Just like in Central Florida, all the citrus trees are being ripped up out of the ground. This is the New Jerusalem. Florida is the New Jerusalem, folks. It's the New Jerusalem. It's where the pale horse happens. Charlie Kirk lived in Sarasota. That's the Stargate for the Divine Mother. That's an Atlantean sea gate that goes to old Atlantis vibrational spectrum. Okay? This space is still being used under the water. Got time to wake up, folks. We're getting on the hour. We're almost on the 13th hour. It's time to stop messing around. We need to get woke up. So when I come back, I've got to go to the office supply store, because I have to get the stuff to make this diagram, because it is going to simplify things so much, and it's going to help explain everything with visual aids. I love visual aids. So with that, when you come and find me, I'll be here, because we're living in the past, present, and the future, all at the same time. Thank you for hanging out with me for 17 minutes, and I really hope you understand this. If you have any questions, ask. Let's all understand. Let's all work together so we can all figure this out. We can show this to other people. This is free knowledge, folks. There's not a charge on this, okay? So let's all get everybody woke up. Let's share the information that we know. Let's share the information. Everybody's got to know. There's 4 ways to get off the planet: north, south, east, and west gates. And Mother is holding the north gate open for us. So I hope to catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos, please. So I'll catch you on the next one with the wonderful visual aids, and then I'm gonna show you exactly how it is that they can say that we've had moons here and suns here, and it will explain so much of the artifacts that are in antiquity. So I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching Sacred Enzyme. Bye-bye.